Who's doing the time?
There.
Cool. I can start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Bosley wakes up in the morning to find himself in a hospital bed. He doesn't remember how he got there. He tries to get up, but there's a sharp pain pounding his body. A nurse walks by, smiles and says to him, "You are very lucky to be alive." He doesn't know what she's talking about. But suddenly, he has flashbacks of a terrifying event. He remembers escaping from some village. But where was his son? Where was his 3-year-old son, Danny? Did he make it out alive? The nurse looks to him, hands him the morning newspaper, and points to the headlines printed on it. 900 people, including 303 children, found dead in a mass cult suicide. No survivors found. The tragic story of Bosley illustrates the most extreme case of cults, which is the topic of discussion for this evening. I would like to discuss the effects of cults on society. First, I believe cults are harmful to society. Secondly, I believe that being in a cult puts the health of its members at risk. And thirdly, I believe cults are offensive to other people. Before we go any further, it is first important to define what is a cult. According to the June 2004 issue of the Professional School Counseling, cults are often defined as the broadest definition of the majority culture that is defined as spurious and unorthodox. It is also defined as a system of extreme worship or devotion to work, object, or person. Very often, new ideas or religions are often labeled as cults because people simply don't understand them. Although you may not be personally involved in a cult, it does not mean you won't be affected by one. Cults have been in the past known to attack huge places of gathering. Such was the case in Tokyo, Japan, in 1995, when the Om Shinrikyo cult, led by Shoko Asahara, released hundreds of tons of sarin gas during rush hour in the Tokyo subway station. The result was the death of 13 people and hundreds of people being poisoned. Now that you're aware of the effects of cults in society, we will continue on to the topic of cults and its effects on personal health. According to the June 2004 issue of Professional School Counseling, the 5 reasons why people join cults are A, to conform, B, not to conform, C, to be led by a leader, D, to follow a cause, or more often, E, in search of a parental figure. The last reason is most often the most important reason for joining cults, as people are often in search of stability or a father figure in their life. A good example of how charismatic leaders are often used to lead their members to do bad things to their health is Jim Jones and the People's Temple. Jim Jones and the People's Temple led him and his group of followers of almost 1,000 people to Guyana to build an utopia village, where he believed he was able to practice their religion free of fear and persecution. However, on November 18, 1978, Jim Jones led him and his followers of almost 1,000 people to commit mass cult suicide. The result was 909 people dead, including 300 children. Everyone was force-fed cyanide-laced Kool-Aid. This event was so scarring to the American psyche that the term drinking the Kool-Aid is often now used to describe the blind following without questioning. And thirdly, cults are offensive to other people. One of the best examples of offensive cults is the Westboro Baptist Church in Topeka, Kansas, led by Fred Phelps. The Westboro Baptist Church is most known for their offensive picketing towards homosexuals and the funerals of dead soldiers who died in Iraq. Their picketing slogans include such things as "God hates the world" and "Thank God for dead soldiers." In fact, this was so offensive that Albert Snyder, the father of Matt Snyder, a 19-year-old veteran, 19-year-old soldier who died in Iraq, sued the Westboro Baptist Church. This case was so big that it went all the way to the Supreme Court. However, in the end, Phelps won 8-1 because the Supreme Court upheld the right to free speech. In conclusion, I hope you have all gained knowledge about the effects of cults in society. First, I talked about how cults are harmful to society. Secondly, I talked about how cults put the health of its members at risk. And thirdly, I talked about how cults are offensive to other people. Thank you.
4 minutes and 40 seconds. Or, yeah.
All right, the opening and the closing of the speech both suggest not an argument, but rather an informative presentation. Now, the secondary claims are labeled as claims, at least they appear to make declarative sentences, but I'm not sure that they make any inferences. They simply describe things that we know to be true. Some cults are offensive, some cults are dangerous, and people have reasons for joining cults. So I'm not sure what the controversy on this subject is. Is there somebody out there who's advocating cults? Is there anybody who denies that the Jonestown cult was dangerous? What you're doing is you're simply presenting information about the cults that have existed. The inference seems to be, but you're not making it, that all cults have the potential for this kind of violence. And that's where I think you need to have better evidence, because you've got the two examples of cults involved in violence, the Japanese subway attack and the Jonestown mass suicide. But you never give us any reason to believe that those cults are typical, that there are other cults out there that are likely to emulate these behaviors. There's not any information that cults are messianic or fatalistic in the long run. And if they're only a threat to themselves and not to others, then that's what you need to be talking about, is how cult membership is a threat to the members. And that seems to be the issue. If you're making a broader argument that cults represent a threat to the society as a whole, then that should be the claim. You've got a couple of examples to cite on those potential dangers, and there's not much that's controversial about them. Like I said, the controversy needs to be about what inference you're drawing from those points. It's relatively easy to follow. It's well organized. You don't always cite the sources of the information, although the two cases that you cite, plus the Westboro Baptist Church case, there's not, it's mostly factual data that you're presenting on those points, so I don't think there's anything particularly controversial about the evidence. You do an okay job presenting to the audience, but like I said, I'm still unclear as to what inference it is that we should be drawing as a result of this. All right, thank you.